Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we're back in the Fenix A321, sat here as Austrian 263 with service from here in Vienna over to Innsbruck. We've got a very short flight time today, of 42 minutes airborne. I'm going to be departing off of 1-6 and arriving on the RNAV on 2-6 in Innsbruck. The weather on both ends is quite nice. Innsbruck, there is some rain showers that are hitting the airport, so better get in quick before we lose visibility because the weather does change in the Alps quite quickly. We're going to be cruising at 290 and we're going to be taking 214 passengers and nearly 7 tons of fuel. So let's jump into the flight deck and get this set up for our flight down to Innsbruck. Hello and welcome back to the flight deck. We're going to set the aircraft up now. We're going to get the secondary standby artificial horizon set. And the scenery here, of course, is by Aviation-SIM. This is the payware one. I bought this on the Orbex store. I forgot how much it was. I think it was £16 if I remember correctly. When we get to Innsbruck as well, we'll be using the beautiful Orbex Innsbruck, which is absolutely fantastic. It looks really nice. So let's jump into the overhead. So we're basically set up. I've got it in sort of a trans turnaround state. It's just nicer that way. It's more realistic as well. So request our init reference from the company, and that should all be inserted now. And we are AUA263, cost index of 6290 is our flight level, and we're going to be departing on runway 16, and we'll be taking the SOV2 Bravo over, and we'll be arriving on the RNAV Zulu 26, and we'll be arriving on the Nani 2 Alpha via the Rattenberg VOR. And that's all inserted correctly. Right, so let's go to ARC constraints and plan through this, and that looks good to me. A very short flight, as you can see, not too long. Not going to be testing the limits of the 321, are we? It's going to be probably dark when we get there as well, which would be nice. First time I've ever done Innsbruck in the dark. Weather here is okay. Get the seatbelt sign on now, and we'll go and just accept our messages. We've got the load sheet, the initial load sheet that we'll accept. We'll put flight plans in there, and we'll do our wind request as well for our route to give us an updated time of arrival. And we'll go straight up to 90. There is no altitude constraints on this SID. So guys, I know that was very short, but the Airbus is. So what I'll do is I'll just jump into the next part of the video when we're all set up ready to insert all the data into the FMC. We're just going to wait for boarding, which is going to be slightly too long. So we'll jump outside, and I'll jump back in when we're inserting the rest of the data into the MCDU. Right, so that is boarding complete, I believe. So we have the APU running and the IRS is aligned, so we'll dismiss that. We'll send to MCDU, and we'll make sure that the init reference is all correct, which it is, and it's loaded it. So we'll go performance, and we'll get the departure performance in. So we're going to go runway 16 and it's dry. We'll calculate that, and that looks okay to me, so we'll pop that all in the MCDU. And we'll accept the final and official load sheet for the aircraft. And oh, I forgot to accept it. So that means I'm going to go all the way through the menu again to accept it. Received messages, final load sheet, accept. There you go, that's all inserted correctly now, and we have our performance there. So get the GPU off, beacon can go on. We will get rid of the rest of the ground handling, and we'll ask for pushback. So the pushback is quite simple. We're just going to go pushback, nose right, tail left here, and then it taxis straight on. We'll make a series of left-hand turns, and then a couple of right-hand turns, and then we'll taxi onto runway 16, which is the runway just to our left at the moment. There's 2 runways here, or 4 different runways in use, but only 2 actual runways. We've got runway 16 to the left of us, and then in front of us, I don't know what runway that is, but we don't use that today. We're using the one that takes us sort of over the countryside. And what we'll do is release the parking brake, because this pushback doesn't ask for you to, doesn't have the audible guide that speaks. So right, we'll get engine number 2 started. That looks good to me. And engine number 1 can be started. Just watching that engine start page there. I love the Airbus, it's so automated. It gets sometimes a little bit boring when we fly the Airbus a lot, but it's such a great machine. And engine number 1 is slowly starting now. And I believe that is the pushback complete. So we're going ahead and set the parking brake. And there's the engine starting. And there's the lovely scenery in the background. Guys seem to do a great job with all their sceneries. It's really FPS friendly as well. I was very worried because their not Frankfurt, Munich scenery is very heavy. And this is quite nice actually. Flown in here a few times, not on videos of course. It's the first time flying to this airport in the sim actually, I believe, or flying out of it. Really looking forward to landing into Innsbruck though. So first landing into the Orbeck scenery. I did a little test flight earlier to make sure it was all installed correctly, and it is absolutely brilliant. Right, so everything's started, so we'll turn off the APU, get the taxi lights on, we'll jump down and we'll go start switch off, flap set to 2, and we'll go flight controls. We'll trim 0.7 up. There you go. And we'll just wait for the flaps to extend, and we'll go flight control full left, full right, full left, full up, full down, neutral and full left, and full right, neutral. So all flight controls are free and correct. We'll set the max auto brake, and we'll test the takeoff config, and we are cleared for taxi. So we'll release the parking brake, give it a couple notches of thrust, we'll taxi on down to runway 16. So we're going to be departing off runway 16. It's a right hand turn after departure. We'll follow all the constraints and speed restrictions. I don't think there is any on this SID actually. Noise abatement procedure is 1500 feet. We'll put the thrust levers into climb. Not much really to say else. There'll be a bit of a more in-depth brief when we come into landing to Innsbruck, of course, because that airport needs a bit more care and attention when arriving there. But we will be going medium auto brake, flaps full, of course. 26, that's the runway that takes you over the city, I believe. It's 08 where you have to do that swinging approach behind the mountain. And it would be a good test for the Fenix as well, to see if it can handle all those constraints. I'm sure it will. It's a brilliant aircraft. So we'll turn the packs off now as well. Lovely evening here in Vienna. Take this right here. Then we'll make a left. And the next right is our hold short point. So we'll ding the cabin crew and ask them to sit down. So we'll hold short here. Oh, there's cabin ready actually, so there's a phone call. Get the lights on now. That stutter there, that's for the lights coming down. I've had it for a while with the Fenix. For some reason, when the landing lights extend, you get this horrible stutter. So we've got TCAS on as well, sorry now. I forgot what the word for it was then, that's why I paused. TCAS lights on. We are ready to rock and roll. So we'll just do a rolling takeoff as well. So spool them up, light forward pressure, Manflex, SRS runway nav blue. Let's go flying. So rotate, lovely rotation, and up we go. That's a positive brake, gear up. Onto the flight directors now. Brilliant. Thrust climb, path 1 on, and we'll start the timer. And our right hand turn now. flash 1. And pack 2 can come on now, pressurise the cabin fully. Lovely, look at that countryside down there, beautiful. And autopilot 1 can come on. And we'll put the flaps in now, and we'll go clean, and away we go. So, turn up some light, it's starting to get dark in here already. We are chasing the sun, so it should stay light for a bit longer. Yeah, it's climbing quite nicely now. Cabin crew can be released. Tax lights, normally turn us off. Away we go. Pop some fixed rings in as well. We're LOWI 10 nautical miles, just so I know when to get some flaps to do and stuff. And next page, lower it again. Have a go 115 just to see where I start my descent. Right, standard barometric pressure now. And everything's done, guys. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with some climate cruise highlights, and I'll see you when we are descending into Innsbruck. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the sim. We've got the seatbelt signs on early because it's starting to get a bit bumpy as we transition through these low cloud bases. We're going through 17,000 feet shortly. We're about to start our right turn to avoid the hills and mountains of Innsbruck and the Austrian Alps. Flight's been non-eventful so far, just a lot of prep and planning for the arrival, as you can imagine. We have elected to go for medium automatic flaps full. It's given us an approach speed of 146 knots, however I'll bump that up to 150 just to add some extra speed just in case we hit some wind shear because Innsbruck, because you're so close to the hills. the winds sometimes are a little bit funny. I'm going to be disconnecting quite far out actually. Wanted to do some hand flying. So we'll disconnect probably about 15 miles out. But that is a beautiful scene in front of us with all the clouds. So we'll be able to see the mountainside shortly when we get below this cloud base. Weather down there is fine at the moment. There is a rainstorm coming in shortly. I think we're just going to miss it though. It's coming from the opposite side of the runway. So we'll be able to get a nice view of all the city, ski slopes and everything as we come in. So it's the Airbus, so what we'll do is we'll leave it to go into approach mode on its own, which should be past it should be just as we exit the Rattenberg VLR, it should go into approach mode, and then we'll get the VDEV and LDEV annunciators on the bottom and right hand side of our PFD, which will pop up and they'll give us the guidance to put it down safely. So the go around procedure, we've got to fly through the canyon, climb up to 9,000, and then we'll climb up higher. Then I'll have to come back round and give it another go from the Rattenberg VLR. So I've got the altitude set at 2,000 feet. That is the where I'm going to disconnect basically. Well, not where I'm going to disconnect, I'm going to disconnect before that, but that's the minimum altitude I need to be disconnected by. I think you can let it down further. I just like having it at 2,000, just in case. So the aircraft has handled this descent really nicely. We've got it cost index of 6, so it's quite a shallow descent, which is nice. Any higher coming into here, and you'd be a bit stuffed with you have to keep pulling speed brake and getting flaps out early and stuff. So I mean, we're going to get flaps out early anyway, because I don't know what the descent rate's going to be like in a sec after the Rattenberg VLR. And that looks beautiful out there, doesn't it? Just watching the speed, it's keeping up with speed quite nicely actually. Like I said, the Fenix has handled this flight so far really good. Very impressed. It's a really good aeroplane. So hopefully when we get through this last bit of cloud, we'll be able to see the nice night lighting that we get from the Orbeck scenery as well. Get the lights on now as well. There you go, that looks nice. And there's the landing lights coming on, beautiful, look at those. Brilliant. Right, and as you can see in front of us, we're starting to get the city loading in nicely. I do get quite a big freeze when I get around this corner in a second because it loads in the city, but it's nothing to worry about. It'll probably be about 2 seconds. So Rattenberg VLR's next. Speed's slowing down nicely. Airplane did pull up a bit then. Just try and catch that speed. Beautiful. Right, there's the turn in. So we're going to follow the canyon down now. It just looks so scenic, this does, doesn't it? Picked a perfect time to come in as well. It'll be night it'll probably be pitch black by the time we touch down, because the sun will be obscured by the big mountainside on the right. And there's our first stop altitude, but it's going to go through that. And there is the approach mode activated. So we're getting out to 220 knots. And the LDEV and VDEV have appeared. 220 knots, get it all slowed down quite nicely. No rush. Look at that, brilliant. Getting really good frames as well coming in here. crickets, and we'll go through that speed altitude restriction. Sorry, there's that pause, and there's the runway right in front of us. So we go flat 1, 200 knots. We'll put that. And there's flat 1, just the slats on the Airbus. We'll get the rest of the lights on for arrival. And we'll add a bit of speed brake. Just get that speed under the S, and we'll get flaps 2 out. And we'll go to 180 knots, and we'll put that for a bit longer. There's flap 2, lovely. Now we are getting these out early, but it's Innsbruck, so I'd like to be configured earlier than usual, just so I can get a feel for it as we come in. And there's a bit of rain coming across the windshield, so we'll arm the speed brake now. Speed's under control quite nicely. Yeah, the Fenix has handled this really nice. It's been bang on the RNAV all the way down. And gear down. You can go outside and watch that. There you go, look at that. Speed window can go in now. It flaps through. Look at that hillside there, wow. And flaps full. Brilliant. So we'll wait for the speed to stabilise, and I'll disconnect the autopilot and I'll do a bit of hand flying. So, disconnecting my aeroplane. So the winds are quite calm at the moment. Bit of terrain on as well now. Have a look as the runway gets closer. We're going further into the canyon. Look at the cityscape in front of us of Innsbruck. Brilliant. What lovely scenery. I'm going to concentrate a little bit now, making sure the aircraft is bang on LDEV or VDEV. Continuing down.
$2,500.
So just watching that. Getting a bit high now. Push the nose down slightly. That looks really nice out there, doesn't it? I'll turn the flight directors off now and get the bird on. I'm happy because I've got visual of the runway, and there, just to the left of the airport, is that big rainstorm coming in. So we've been perfect. Just missed it. Because if that rainstorm would have come in a bit closer to the airport, we would have been in a bit of trouble. And look how close the airport is to that big mountain on the right. Stable at the moment, happy with everything.
1,000.
Alright, I'll change the altitude to 9,000, which I go around.
Minimum.
There's crickets and continue. No messing around either with this. We're not going for a bottom, we're just going to try and get it down. Close thrust levers, hold it there. Down we are. Speed brakes up, reverse, green, max reverse, decel. That was really nice actually. Keep it on the centre line. Reverse and come in now. Manual braking, and we'll get off at the exit we wanted to. Brilliant. So that wasn't too bad, was it? The Fenix handled that arrival really nicely. Really nicely. Can't complain. And we're taxiing right off where we wanted to as well. Right, speed brakes in, turn the that off, and the flaps can come up. TCAS is off, APU can come on, all the lights can come off as well. Put the light onto taxi and start the APU. We haven't got a very long taxi. Brilliant. Welcome down to Innsbruck. So we'll park right next to that 2E75 there. Sadly they're all retired now, but go and park next to that. And look at that ominous big mountain there behind us. Brilliant. Yeah, the scenery, like I said, from Orbec's really nice. Really nice. And there's the, in front of us, that rainstorm's coming across. Lovely detail on the hangars over there as well. So like I said, we'll park right in front of the main terminal next to that 7.5 on the their aircraft left. So let's see if there's a marshal, which there is. So let's see how accurate this marshal is then. Lovely, so marshal us in. He's going to be wrong. They always tell you to come out a bit too fast. We'll keep rolling it in a little bit and we'll call it a day about there. And set the parking brake. Engines can come off. Jump into the overhead. And get the beacon light off. Taxi light can come off as well. And we'll get the bleed on. Deboard the passengers, ground services, get the stairs on. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did. Going into Innsbruck is always a bit interesting. The scenery's been really nice as well, and the Fenix did help me out because it's a brilliant aircraft. Like I said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon in the next video.